So because it's Christmas, this is an interesting topic to me. The nativity story, right? The whole reason for the season. I just kind of wanted to ruin everybody's day and talk about what the nativity story is, just based off of my understanding of what's written in the Bible. Now, here's the thing. I've been skeptical of biblical accuracy for quite a while now, and I've had many conversations with people who are not. The most common ending to the conversation is between me and a believer is typically they get to a point where they just go, I don't even understand why you care about that. That doesn't matter. Right? So that the points that I will bring up, the petty little indiscrepancies, the contradictions, the omissions of one author versus the other, people tend to, they just go like, why do you, that you're missing the bigger picture. Like the bigger picture is God and love and fulfillment and to just be your faith and how it floods your life with happiness and joy, and you're seeking something, but you're seeking the wrong thing. If you're somebody who believes that the Bible is the inerrant word of God, and not that it's one of mankind's many attempts to describe the world around them when they were really ignorant long time ago, then this video is not for you, because nothing I say is going to affect you. I think I make these videos more there's for myself. It's like a self-reflective thing. I come up with I don't come up with it, but I hear an idea and I go, that's interesting. Or I'm reading the Bible and I notice something that's been pointed out to me and I go, oh shit, that person told me that's what it says, and that's actually what it says. As opposed to trying to just find truth in it. I just kind of take it for what it is and say, oh, okay, this is what it says. And that's interesting to me. So, just so everybody knows, I'm agnostic about religion in general. I don't know if there's a God. I really doubt it. I think everything we do is everything that we think, all of our opinions, all of our beliefs, they're all just a scale of probability. But when someone asks me, are you an atheist? I do say yes, because it just expresses to them a little more clearer and quick and concise where I stand. Because although I am agnostic, I don't know. I put the probability so low that I might as well not believe. I'm kind of like, I've heard a lot of people say this on YouTube channels and stuff, but I'm at the point where I'm not convinced. Based off of everything I've looked into, based off everything I've read, everything I've watched, everything I've experienced, I remain unconvinced that there is any God, let alone the Christian God. And I'm extremely skeptical that there's any divine inspiration in the Bible. But I digress. That was a long intro. Today, I just wanted to point out a few things. Look, there's about 5 people who are going to watch this video, and they're all my family. So if you're my cousin, my uncle, my aunt, my mom, my dad, I think you're not watching this for the content. You're watching this because you just want to see my beautiful face. Please don't get offended. These are just thoughts. These are just opinions. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm just reading directly from the book, right? So it's not I'm not attacking it. I'm not formulating any kind of like made up lie or I'm not trying to misguide people. What I'm doing is I hear the stuff and I go, oh, interesting. What do you think? Like I said, if it's a believer, they typically just come back and go, no. But if it's somebody who's on the fence, they go, oh, wow, that is interesting. So then that's why I even do this kind of stuff, is to discuss things with like-minded people and go, hey, this is where I came up with this, or this is where I land on this. What do you think? And then if they kind of do a little, that's interesting. There's a couple things. And I got notes here, so you'll forgive me if I keep you see my eyes glancing down. It's because there's a lot of detail here. But so I'm going to structure it in 4 layers. What each gospel includes, side by side. Key contradictions and differences. Why scholars think the differences exist. Theological intent. And how to frame this honestly without sounding like an anti-Christian. So all citations are straight from Matthew 1 and 2 and Luke 1 and 2, the canonical text. What each gospel actually says. In Matthew's nativity, Matthew 1:1 through 2:23. Matthew's version is Joseph-centered. It's politically tense, and it's focused on prophecy fulfillment. So the elements that it includes is the genealogy traced from Abraham to David to Joseph. Mary is already pregnant. Joseph plans to divorce her quietly. The angel appears to Joseph in a dream, not Mary, appears to Joseph. Jesus' name explained as he will save his people from their sins. The explicit prophecy fulfillment from Isaiah 7:14 is quoted directly in Matthew chapter 1, verses 22-23. Jesus is born in Bethlehem. The Magi, wise men, from the east follow the star. King Herod is alarmed, sees Jesus as a threat. The star leads the Magi to the house, not the stable. The Magi bring gold, frankincense, and myrrh. There is a massacre of innocents, right? The boys 2 and under massacred. Then there's the flight to Egypt. Then Herod dies. Then the family relocates to Nazareth afterwards. So those are all included in Matthew's nativity. What's not included at all? There's no shepherds. There's no census. There's no manger. There's no inn. There's no angels singing. And there's no Mary-focused annunciation. Now let's look at Luke's. So Luke's version is Mary-centered. It's poetic, it's joyful, and it's focused on on the poor and marginalized. So the items that are included in Luke's nativity: parallel birth stories of John the Baptist and Jesus. The angel Gabriel appears to Mary, not Joseph. Mary responds willingly, "Let it be to me according to your word." The genealogy is traced back to Adam, emphasizing universality. The census of Quirinius forces Joseph and Mary to Bethlehem. Jesus is born in a manger because there was no room at the inn. The shepherds receive angelic announcement. The angels proclaim peace on earth. The shepherds visit the baby. Family performs Jewish rites at the temple. No danger from Herod. The family returns peacefully to Nazareth. What's not included? There's no magi. There's no star. There's no massacre. There's no flight to Egypt. And there's no royal paranoia. The 2 major differences and tensions. So this is the juicy part. Who gets the angel? In Matthew, Joseph gets the angel in a dream. In Luke, Mary gets the angel in direct conversation. This changes agency. So in Matthew, Joseph as protector and decision maker. In Luke, Mary as faithful chosen participant. Number 2, how they get to Bethlehem. In Matthew, they already live there. But in Luke, the census forces them there. This is a direct logistical contradiction. They cannot both be true as written, right? Either they live there or the census forces them to go back, which the census is kind of a little difficult to swallow anyway, because why would they, when they talk about the census in Luke, they say that there's a census where they tell people, hey, we got to take this census, go back to where you're from so that we can do the census. That doesn't line up with anything historically. I don't know of any census, and hey, I'm not saying, because I don't know, it doesn't exist, but please let me know that I'm wrong. But do you know of a census where they say, hey, go back to where you originally come from so we can take this census? It's like I live in Rancho Cucamonga, but I was born in Fontana. In my childhood, I lived in Montclair and Chino. Like, if they were going to take a census, they wouldn't ask me to go back to where I come from so that I could fill out the census. I would take it from where I'm at, where I currently live. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, number 3, who visits Jesus? In Matthew, foreign astrologers, the Gentiles. In Luke, Jewish shepherds, poor locals. Symbolism. So in Matthew, Jesus is acknowledged by the nations. In Luke, Jesus is revealed to the lowest social class. Number 4, timeline after the birth. Matthew goes Bethlehem, Egypt, Nazareth. In Luke, it goes Bethlehem, Jerusalem, Nazareth. There's no room in Luke's timeline for A, a massacre, B, years in Egypt, or C, Herod's death. Number 5, political tone. In Matthew, it's real violent, dangerous, paranoid, like a paranoid ruler, right? In Luke, it's peaceful, celebratory, an orderly Roman world. This matters because Herod died in 4 BCE. Quirinius' census occurred in 6 CE. That's a 10-year gap, historically speaking. Number 3, why scholars say these differences exist. Matthew's goal. Matthew is written primarily for Jewish audience. He wants Jesus to be the new Moses. He wants him to have escaped a tyrant like Pharaoh. He wants to fulfill prophecy after prophecy. That's why Matthew constantly says, this took place to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet. Even when historians note those prophecies weren't originally messianic. Luke's goal. Luke is writing for the Greco-Roman audience. He wants Jesus to be for everyone, be peaceful, humble, universal, to fit neatly into Roman historical structure. In Luke, that's why he mentions emperors. That's why he mentions governors. That's why he focuses on songs, poetry, and joy. Scholarly consensus, broadly speaking. Most critical scholars agree. Neither account is a modern historical biography. They are theological narratives, not neutral reporting. Each author shaped the birth story to match their message. That doesn't automatically mean that it's made up, but it does mean interpreted. So when I look at this, these were words written by men, people. I don't think that they were divinely inspired. I don't think that even if God exists, I don't think he had a hand in this. I just feel like these were individual authors that weren't trying to give like a hospital birth certificate. I think they were just trying to explain to their audience what Jesus meant. They could be accurate as far as that, but they were just reporting on what, and they could have been saying things that they thought they knew. But these are not eyewitness accounts. None of it is. But specifically because we're talking about the Nativity, I just want to emphasize that. These are not eyewitness accounts. These books are not written in the first person. Neither one of them are saying, I was there, this is what I saw, this is what I know. These are people writing decades after any of this supposedly happened, and they're just stories that they heard, that they're now writing down. That doesn't make them false, but it gives me pause. Is this, maybe this is profound to you, maybe it's not. But I have yet to be touched by God, have any kind of revelation, or I could tell you the thing that I hear when people describe their moment that they, had their, come to God moment, right? Comes in a variety of different, descriptions and ways that it happens, but in every iteration of it, the time that I can say that I've felt that way first is the birth of each one of my kids. It was an overwhelming abundance of joy that brought me to tears, physical, crying like a little baby tears, that I was not able to explain it. It just was everything you can think the word love means in one moment. And each time it happened, it was equally as profound to me. I was a little worried, like after the first one. I was like, am I going to be none to this on the second one? Nope, same shit. Third one, same shit. The other time that I kind of had that, nowhere near as magical, but another time I had a very similar experience was the moment that I was about 30, I don't know, mid-30s. But I was like, my whole life I was raised thinking that, like, struggling with the idea of, like, man, why does none of this make sense? And then when I had that moment where I was like, oh, because it's not true. It was like this huge weight was lifted off my shoulder. Like, oh, shit, you literally just solved this mathematical equation you've been staring at for over 30 years and struggling with. And now you just saw, like, now it all makes sense. And then once I came to, like, the idea that that's possible, that the majority of this stuff is just made up, a lot of the experiences are just anecdotal, that there's no actual proof of any of this. Then I started doing a lot of research and discovering there is not a lot of foundationally solid evidence for any of this. Almost all of it is experienced based, anecdotal. I felt this way, I experienced this, and that's why I believe that this is true. But other than that, there's not a way for me to experience that through you. So if you are like, oh, I experience God, I know He exists because I experience Him. I believe you. I believe that you feel that way. I believe you experience that. I have yet to do that, and I can't experience that through you. It has to either happen to me or it doesn't. And it hasn't. So I still remain skeptical, and I challenge anybody out there, if you're not, I don't want to ruin your fucking beliefs or whatever, but if you're on the fence, if you're looking into this stuff and you're like, oh, I'm curious, or maybe you just want to be blissfully ignorant and you're just like, I just enjoy being who I am and I enjoy the beliefs that I maintain and carry, and this means nothing to me. Okay, then that's cool. It was funny. I was watching an interview with Alex O'Connor, and he was talking about a conversation he had with Richard Dawkins. Both of these guys, atheists, non-believers, skeptics, whatever you want to call them, but even in that world, he was describing a conversation that he had that was not unpleasant, but it was like he came across where, he's like asking questions about specific ideas about religion, about the Bible or whatever, and the response he got from Richard Dawkins was like, well, what the fuck does that have anything to do with anything interesting? Right? Like, I'm not interested in that. That doesn't make any. I don't care about that. I'm over here. I've come across that where I go, hey, this is interesting to me. I'm fascinated with this topic, this idea. But then I present it to people, and I'm like, I get shut down. Like, who cares? From both sides. I get people that are not religious, but they're just like, I don't even care. Like, I believe that's all hooey. Doesn't matter. Okay. And then I get people on the other side that are like, oh no, I totally believe in that, and no, what you're saying is not okay. Let's not talk about it. Okay. So where is my audience? Somewhere, right? In that conversation where Alex O'Connor he was in this interview. It's actually one of his most recent podcasts that he had. He's describing that conversation. He's like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'm not insulted by that. It's just, okay, well, now you're not interested. At this point of the conversation, you're not interested in going forward with these points. I am. So I'm going to continue on and go find people who are interested in it. So that's where I'm at here. If you're interested, if you found any of this interesting, subscribe, like, go watch one of the other ones. Go check out Zion and Anthony podcast. It's another podcast I do. I also have another moniker, He's Where. Go to that channel and check that out. I don't get a lot of watches. I don't get a lot of views. I don't get a lot of likes. I don't get a lot of comments. But I fucking love for people to engage in this conversation. Tell me where I went wrong. Tell me where you disagree. I'll reply to all comments. I promise. And yeah, let me know if you're interested. Until the next one.